Hello, my love. Welcome to this bonus episode of Shamanic Heart Space. My name is Nancy. I did not plan to do this episode whatsoever, actually, but here it is. I'll tell you what happened. Well, first of all, if you're new to the channel, welcome. I hope that you find this information helpful. I just want to let you know that I'm not an astrologer. I am a channeler, amongst other things. So please take what resonates and leave what does not. I say that every episode. But I'm also continuing my journey. It never ends for any of us. And I was noticing recently, I've just recently got back to Peru. I've had very heavy 3 months at least. And yeah, feeling a lot of heaviness, sadness, and just not feeling myself, even though I'm back here in the Garden of Eden once again in the Amazon. Hope you can hear the frogs and the rain in the background. It's late, the moon is up. But yeah, I couldn't seem to really shake this feeling. I just didn't feel like me. And I was just sort of sitting, minding my own business, doing a bit of meditating, or trying to anyway. My mind was racing. And just this download came through. So I decided to write some bits down and that I would put it out on a podcast because I found it helpful. And so I hope that you will too, if you're listening to this. If you're feeling that kind of, heaviness, sadness, letting go at the moment is a big theme. It could be to do with the moon that's coming up. We've got the full moon in Virgo coming up on the 7th of March. But also, this is no ordinary moon, right? Not only is it a supermoon, but Saturn is moving houses. It's moving into the house of Pisces. Now, I did go and look that up because I was interested to see if there was some kind of correlation astrologically. Oh, we've got a gecko here too. That's a good sign. Eat that mosquito, please. Gecko, sign of transformation. What was I saying? Moving into Pisces. So you can see where that's going to affect you if you already know where Pisces is in your zodiac chart. That's going to be where you'll feel this Saturn moving most of all. But as this download started to come to me, I just had so many revelations. So I hope that this works for you too. So if you don't know already, one of my channeling symptoms, I call it that, is yawning. Sorry about the background noise, no idea what that is. Anyway, welcome to the chaos party. So what you can do is check out your natal chart, see where Pisces is for you, and this can be a little bit of guidance for you. I'm just going to give you general guidance, but a bit of guidance as to what you might expect over this Saturn planet moving. All right. So it's been in my house of work for 3 years and now it's moving into love. And that really makes sense for me. So that was my 6th house. It's moving into my 7th house. These mosquitoes are driving me crazy. So yeah, and that really makes a lot of sense to me actually. So for the last 3 years, I've been working really, really hard around working with plant medicines and becoming much stronger and braver and out there with facilitating. And so that makes sense. But also, this is the end of a 30-year cycle or thereabouts. So you might want to ask yourself what you were doing, excuse me, back in 1993. So some of you might have been being born, maybe you weren't born yet. I was moving schools. It was the first time I'd fallen in love, and actually changing schools set my life in a much better direction. So even though that was probably difficult and chaotic, I don't really remember. It definitely, looking back now, I can really see how that's impacted me now, like 30 odd years later, giving myself away there. So yeah, you could be reflecting on most of your life, consciously or unconsciously, right now. You could be feeling losses. You could be kind of leaning into what you've learned, what you've had to let go of. overall. So there could really be a lot coming up for you. I really get the feeling that for most, it's a struggle in surrendering to the change and the shift in the energy now. And I want to just remind you that it is what it is. And you may be feeling a lot of this kind of death energy of this old cycle, a 3-year cycle, 3 years or so, plus the 30-year cycle ending. So this information I found really revelatory, actually, when this was downloaded to me. So really, it could feel very sad, very lonely, very heavy. That might be where you're at right now. But it is just letting go of some old stuff, deep stuff. But I think the answer is to just let it all hang out. Don't apply more pressure to yourself. Don't think that, or tell yourself you're supposed to be further down whatever road you want to be on. You are where you are. And also, come what may. I know there's been a bit of fear generated around this movement with Saturn. I don't know why. I'm pretty unplugged from the rest of the world, so I don't know what sorts of things are actually going on in the world, or what other podcasts are out there, or videos or whatever. But you can handle it, my love. Give yourself permission to grieve, to feel, to express what and how ever you need to. This is time for you to let go, to allow some integration, and to just be, really. You know, this is a lot. This is a lot being here on the planet right now. Whether you're really involved in what we can call the matrix or not, it is still a lot on an energetic, physical, emotional level. We're all connected to each other. We're all feeling everything that's going on in the universe right now. So what can we expect from this? Well, this is happening. We can't do anything about it. It's happening collectively. So we can expect that, as well as on our personal levels and in our interpersonal relationships, because everybody is going to feel this to varying degrees. That cannot be helped. And we can kind of, I always think of Saturn as a bit of a kind of boss man. We can expect Saturn to kind of shut down certain things, especially around delusions, lies, just anything that's really false and doesn't have the roots to keep growing in our personal lives and on the world stage. So yeah, definitely within our lives. It's giving you the opportunity to take stock once again and drop any unnecessary baggage and illusions. This word kept coming to me about illusions, seeing beyond the illusions, the lies we tell ourselves, the lies that we swallow, the things that we want to believe, the fantasies, the kind of, this is a time that if there's anything that needs to go, it might happen quite quickly. And that's good in one way. Might be a bit of a shock, might not be wanted, but really the answer is, as always, just surrender, really, in that case, if that is you, if that applies to you. Could apply in a big way, a small way, or not at all. But that's all we can do right now with this. And if you've already, let's say, like I'm getting the image of like cleared the path, then there's space for I'm getting the visual of having cultivated your garden. Then there's space for some really beautiful things to come through now. And so maybe in the run up to this, maybe you've been feeling bored or frustrated, acting out of character, perhaps taking leaps of faith, perhaps just feeling depressed. I think it's quite likely, I feel it's quite likely that some changes have been felt amongst a lot of people right now. So like me, I was acting out of character, and maybe even just very up and down in some moments, and swinging from like, oh, I'm really bored and I know how not to be bored, but I don't want to do that either. Or like, I'm really frustrated and oh no, now I'm really sad, or now I'm taking this massive leap of faith. And this is all an indication of what could come next for you, what you've kind of perhaps cleared already. So if you've been bored, for example, maybe that's a sign you've done your work. I'm not saying it is or it isn't, I don't know, but maybe it's a sign of that. And so you're just now waiting for the stuff to come in that needs to come in, which hopefully, well, I mean, there's no good or bad, is there? So it's just thinking makes it so. Um, so this is not like a rod to beat yourself with, or equally, it's not a reason to puff up the ego, because none of us is flawless, honey. But it's really an opportunity to perhaps to clean up anything that needs to be cleaned up. If you are feeling depressed, it might help to go back the last 3 years. What were you doing this time 3 years ago? Or if you do need to go back 30 years, what were you doing then? What was significant? What was going on there? What have you learned in that time? Now, this might be too much for the mind to really take on, but if you can get into a nice, peaceful, meditative state with that and allow the answers to come in the silence, that could be a really good opportunity to just really finalize some closure. I think is probably the easiest way to say it. Now, if you're out of your comfort zone, good, you're growing. And if the gifts are coming, good, enjoy. Don't get complacent. Wherever you're at right now, you're right on time for you. You wouldn't be here now listening to this if you weren't really trying to do your best. And just allow whatever it is that wants to move, the energy of this change to move through you, because that's all that's trying to happen. That's all that's trying to happen. The energy is trying to move through you. Sorry, my darling Peruvians were just making too much noise there. So what were we saying? Yes, that energy needs to go somewhere, and chances are it wants to move through you. Some of it may be yours and some of it may not. You can also, kind of lean into that. You might be feeling stuff on behalf of other people and the collective. I think I keep saying I think at the moment, but that's actually not true, because I never think with my head. I feel in my heart. But it's interesting because I have been very too much in my head lately, and then I do keep saying I think. I mean, this is obviously not me thinking. This is conditioned, channeled stuff that's coming through. But it would be good to break away, to identify your own conditioning, and come away from any noise that's just unhelpful for you right now, just until these initial transitions take place. I would say drop into your intuition, drop into your trust, drop into your own space, your own energy. And the phrase that keeps coming to me is, what you resist persists, and what you try to kind of hold on to or push will also try to escape you. So being in that neutral place in yourself, and observing your thoughts, observing your feelings, observing possibly old behaviors and bad habits wanting to come to the surface, just observing what's going on, not judging yourself. This is a really wonderful time for integrating, for just hermiting. I love a good old hermit, me being such a Virgo. So yeah, really bringing what you've learned over the last 3 years and the last 30 years, bringing that here, how you've evolved, bringing that back here to earth, down to earth, into the here and now, and honoring the closure of such a huge process, such a huge cycle. Your journey is unique. Will also resonate with others. This is something that came through to me too. And you are the light in the darkness. The darkness is here now. We're already pretty much in the apocalypse, I think. And you get to choose if you want to go up or down, is the simplest way of putting it. So you choose where your energy is going to go. You choose how you want to feel. You choose how long you want to suffer for. Okay, something else that came through is about responsibility. Right, let me just see if there was any more around responsibility that wants to come through. Sorry about the yawning. Tends to make other people yawn too. Yeah, so if you need to take responsibility or own anything about who you are, Saturn is really supporting that now. The energy of Saturn is really supporting that now. So there may be some things that you swept under the carpet, you didn't want to own, you didn't want to shine a light on. Maybe this could be anything from any kind of secret, from sharing your gifts to, well, anything. If that resonates with you, the answer will pop into your head right away. So it's all good, because this is just wanting to be supportive, to really get you on track and alignment with who you are, what you're here for, and it's all good. This is a matter of perspective, and I mean, isn't everything a matter of perspective, I guess? Uh, it's just time to really get real with yourself, dropping those illusions, bells and whistles. You won't have to try too hard to do that, I would imagine. Those things are going to naturally fall away from your life or come into your life. We don't have to try. We shouldn't try and take control of everything any of the time. Life just does life by itself. It's really quite remarkable. And we just have to show up and take responsibility. But the next phase is here. You're probably feeling it already. If not, it's coming. And we all have to take full responsibility for our happiness, our choices, and where our life is now and where we want it to go. So there could be a bigger plan for us, and we might get swept away with that, and that's fine. That's a case of surrendering, of course, as long as it doesn't go completely against what you want. But this is examining our conditioning. Is that what you really think? Is that what you really feel? Or is this being picked up? Have you learned this or inherited this, So around this time, can uncomfortable truths come to light? Yes, of course. But you're better equipped to deal with it now than probably before. So if there are these kinds of difficult revelations, you have the tools. You have the tools to stay in neutral, to be the witness. You've likely heard of Saturn returns. It happens to people sort of between the age of, kind of 28 to 31. And this is basically a Saturn returns for all of us, as is just, finishing up in the 12 houses, So this is really, really exciting. And you can also decide. Be conscious about what you do and what you don't want. You do have choices. You have free will. So this is working for us and with us on inner and outer levels, as above, so below, as within, so without. Habits and unconscious behaviors might come up. It's a good time to stop something or change some stuff up if you need to, around habits, behaviors, the people in your life. And just would urge you to grab this opportunity. It only comes once every 30 years. Grab it, make it work for you. So some pointers that you could go for with this that came through were: have a look at your dreams. Do you still believe in them? So do you tell yourself that will never happen, or good things never happen to me, or whatever it is that's going on? When you look at your big dream, do you feel like you deserve it? Do you believe in it? Even if you don't know how you might get there or achieve that, do you know that you deserve it? It's a good question to ask. Do you believe in it? Is there any self-sabotaging going on? Also, are you honoring your true self or denying yourself, living in your fullest expression? Maybe it's time to really speak some truths, Okay. They want me to mention coping mechanisms. So yeah, any coping mechanisms, Could they do with a review? So I guess that comes under the umbrella of habits. And you probably don't need the same or maybe even any coping mechanisms like you may have done before, because you're much stronger now. Your toolkit's grown. Oh, they're giving me some questions. Okay, so what hasn't worked out? What hasn't worked out for you? Yeah, I'm assuming the last 3 years, the last 30 years. That's a big question. Those things that didn't, air quotes, work out, did they work out better in another way? Disappointment. What do you mean? I'm just getting clarification. Hold on. Okay, so other areas of your life now that you feel disappointed about, is there anything you can do about that? And can you let any of those things go? Or can you approach them now from your more evolved self? Okay. I'm just getting a message. 1 second. Just reading the visual. All right. So what are you prepared to put up with now, and for how long before you switch up and move the energy? So yeah, this is very Saturnian. This is like, if this isn't, yeah, so we're not dealing with potential anymore. We're dealing with, right, is this tenable? Is this workable right now? If it's not, sack it off, because potentials may never come around. So what are you going to put up with, and for how long? And that's for you to decide how long you want to give your energy to something that may be a waste of energy, quite frankly, that you could be feeding yourself with. Okay, so this is really a time to surrender. Get any support that you need. Love yourself as you are. And it's a good time to remember you are the one you've been waiting for. So dig into your toolbox. You do have the tools there to help you through anything fast or difficult or uncomfortable. Just need to believe in yourself. You just need to do it. You just need to do it. Okay, so they're giving me a question. How do you feel about letting go? That was the end of that. Okay, there's no more message on that. So I guess this is around like set yourself free. Don't expect anybody else to set you free. Set yourself free. This could come in the form of forgiveness or acceptance. What's the other word? Give me the word, guys. I'm just going to go with surrender again because we haven't got all day. So it might not be easy, but remember, just everything has a cycle. Everything has a cycle, and endings lead to new beginnings. And so this is going to move. If you're in a difficult place right now, this is going to move. You have the ability to find peace in your own heart. Even if you feel more loss and grief and all of those things than gain at first, just try to step back and gain a higher or a bigger perspective, and then bring it back to earth with peace in your heart and just say, okay, I accept this. I can't control this. I'm willing to let this go, or I'm willing to change this or switch this up. This is more or less a time to prove to yourself who you are and what you're capable of, and to make manifest what you desire, what you really desire in your heart, away from conditioning, away from all that rubbish. Yeah. And you don't need to push. In fact, don't push. Just show up. Just surrender. Just show up. I'm here. I'm here. I'm vulnerable. I'm feeling this. I am just a humble human being. And I surrender. Okay, so it's time for some really great stuff to come along. And you are going to be ready. I'm talking about magic. I'm talking about manifesting. And, stay in that positive expression as best you can. And self-worth, and grab all of these gifts with both hands. I have no doubt you have worked really hard to be where you are now. And maybe you felt a bit bumpy recently, but that's because you're connected. That's because you're conscious. So don't give up too soon. Just wait it out. Just be patient and love yourself. Watch your thoughts. See what triggers are coming up. Oh, that's interesting. That's pressed a bruise for me. Watch out for self-sabotage. And focus on your connection to yourself. And whatever your version of God or the higher power is, focus on those connections. And other people are just going to be playing out their own version of this. So show it for yourself, okay? And don't get in your own way. And of course, never ever be a martyr. Yeah, it's your responsibility. Your responsibility is to yourself first. Not my circus, not my monkeys, as I like to say. So just be staying conscious, committed, mature. You know, you might want to think about journaling, getting into the body, dancing, going out, forest bathing, screaming, writing some mantras. Some mantras I came up with. I haven't kind of settled on one yet, but I deserve the best. When I show up for myself, others will show up for me. I am the mistress of my destiny. I love myself. You know, these kinds of things, staying in those more positive, higher expressions, even if the road is long and bumpy and the night seems dark, you know, it's okay. It's okay. We're all in it together. And every little thing you do is benefiting everybody. We all have a part to play in this. And so I want to thank you for being here now on the planet now and for taking the time to listen to this podcast. And thank you in advance for making time for yourself to honor what you're feeling, to let go of what needs to be let go of, and to embrace all these wonderful gifts that are coming. Yeah. And also give yourself permission to say no, to say enough is enough, to take time for yourself. Okay, so unexpected burst through there of a bonus episode. I hope that you found it helpful. If you want to get in touch, you know how. There's links and stuff underneath the episode. But just sending you so much love, and I really respect your journey. I look forward to catching up with you soon. And yeah, if you want to come to the moon ceremony on the 7th of March, check out Patreon. We'll be doing a lot of clearing and yeah, just holding space. So big hug to you from my heart to yours, and I'll see you soon. Thank you.